Now we're going to delve into understanding Cashless Policy Society, and we have a guest with us. Now, when Adi and I were talking about it, we were trying to, pick each other's brains on what we think cashless policy is, how we think cashless policy can work in the country. If we've actually gotten to that part where our country is going to be 100% cashless policy, I don't think so. Ade thinks that cashless policy has already started happening, but we have our guest in the studio that we're going to direct all that question to.
Yes, indeed.
Good morning, Edward Esena. He is a startup coach, digital and tech expert. He's a management consultant. He's a top BDSP accredited by SMIDAN and EDC. That's yes, and he's also a faculty mentor and consultant at TEF VC4A. In fact, your credentials are so much. Your credentials are so much. But then what is important is he has 15 years consulting and training experience within and outside Nigeria for various multinationals and indigenous companies.
Yeah.
It gives us that assurance that he can actually break down all the questions that we have this morning.
Yeah,
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so let's delve into this cashless policy in the everyday language. What does it mean?
So again, it just means anything but cash. We don't want to see you do a transaction, make a purchase, and bring out a naira note. We don't want to see the money. Do the transaction, do the business, but keep your money where your money should be. We don't want to see the money. I want to be able to do business with you. You should be able to do business with me, but without physical cash.
What kind of so when there is a high dispensation of physical cash in our economy, that can actually have an effect on the currency. So I want to talk about the effects on, because I always find it's quite difficult understanding the relationship between heavy flow of physical cash in the correlation rather between the heavy flow of physical cash in our economy alongside the effect it has on currency. What is the relationship between these two, and how does cashless policy come to play?
So economies are looked at from two major standpoints. We have the macroeconomy and the micro dimension. So let me speak to the macro. For instance, having high cash in circulation always leads to or contributes to high inflation. So the federal government use different fiscal and monetary, CBN use different fiscal and monetary policy to mop up cash in the economy. For instance, they may issue treasury bill. The government has to borrow at a good rate to mop up money. And then the cost of handling those cash, the cost of subsidizing those cash, that is micro. So there's a cost to having cash in the system. Another dimension to that is just pure risk, volatility, theft, anything money, huge amount of cash, we are all vulnerable.
Okay.
So how does cashless policy now help in somehow correcting this vulnerability?
So cashless helps in the fact that we are both rich, we are both in the sense doing business, but you don't know how much I have, I don't know how much I have. We just seem to have the money somewhere in the cloud, in the account of one bank to another bank, and we're just transacting. So when I give value to you, if you want to pay me for that value, I transfer the equivalent what in naira and kobo in this sense to your account. So the sense of being rich in the material sense of it, of having big man, big money, big car, having a lot of cash, it's been reduced or flattened. So when I show up, whether I'm rich or whether I'm big man or not, you don't know. Because I'm just coming with my card or my phone, and I can do a transaction worth any amount, and I can just transfer to you. But with the cash plus policy, for instance, the highest I'm supposed to be carrying around as an individual in Nigeria is 500,000. And that is even too much of a money to be carrying around.
To be holding,
But I can walk into any place and do transaction worth 10, 15, 20 million. I don't need to carry that amount of cash. I just need to press my codes, do a transfer, and you get your 15 million.
Okay, so do you think cash should be eliminated totally? Because I mean, we are already seeing the pros of cashless policy and how it can actually save you from a lot of stress and also, save you from harassment, because that's one major thing. But do you think that cash should be taken out of the system?
No, I'm not sure. As of today, there are no nation or economy that is 100% cashless. So what we are looking at here is to reduce as much as possible the amount of cash in the system. We can't totally eliminate it. And I was listening to you just when I came in, having that 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira with you, even if you are pro-cashless 100%, it's not sustainable now in Nigeria. It's a lot of risk for you to go out with just your ATM and your phone in this current Nigeria, right? Because we have huge informal sector. We have the conductors that you mentioned that will never take a transfer from you, that will not use the POS. They don't even want to think about that. So what we work now is an hybrid system. It is no longer this or this. It is rather this and this.
Okay.
So, right, from...
So it is cashless plus cash.
Yeah, okay.
Cashless plus a bit of cash.
So in your opinion, where are we in our society today, as regards to cashless policy?
So I looked up, one of the biggest challenges we have with the cashless policy in Nigeria is our large informal sector.
Right.
Which is about 60 to 70%.
So this is probably like the average market woman.
Yes. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And even with the formal economy, which is just about 30%, cashless is not 100% there yet.
Yes.
So let's assume, I don't have the numbers. Let's say formal economy 70%, 30%, informal economy 70%. In the 30% formal economy where cashless is not 100%, let's say we have 50% adoption. Adoption is usage. People are already buying into it. Okay. Let me even go as high as 80%. So it means that we still have 20% short of 30%, whatever that numbers come to if we do the maths. Okay. But we still have a whopping 65 to 70% informal sector that is still 5% cashless. 5%. Balogo market, Arara market, Alaba market, Idumota market, everywhere.
That's even in Lagos.
That's just Lagos.
That's just Lagos.
Yes. And 40 million peasants, small-scale older farmers. There's nothing cashless for them, for what they know. So, I don't know, what's the question again?
No, so where are we in our society?
So I'm trying to add the numbers together. So if we do 80% adoption of the 30% formal economy and 5% adoption of the 70% informal economy, the gaps I'm seeing is that we have 20% on tap from the 30% formal, and we have 95% from the 70% informal. Did you get to that?
I understand.
Myself?
No. I'm with you.
We were there. In fact, that is even raising a lot of questions in my mind.
That is how far yet we still have to go.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. Before we came on live, I was asking the question on when we can actually get there, because when Adi and I were conversing, I was telling him that take it or leave it, the 70%, in fact, I didn't even know it was up to 70%. I thought it was probably about 40% or thereabouts. Informal economy. I didn't know it was up to 70%. And, because we are in a certain sector, we would like to assume that everybody has technology, but everybody doesn't. We would like to assume that everybody has data, or everybody believes in cashless policy or whatnot. Everybody doesn't. And that now leads me to that question where, so when are we going to get there? Like, what year can you project? I mean, in 2011, CBN thought that by 2020, we will be at least, so if not 100%, about 80% cashless. But we're not there yet. So in your own calculations, what year do you think Nigeria will get to that point where, they're about 70-80% cashless? And then, of course, you've already stated that we can do cash plus cash and plus cashless. So where do we get to? When can we get there?
Again, looking at it, this is just my opinion, right? And I'm not an economist. I listen to a lot of economists. I have some very reputable and renowned economists that I follow, that I listen to, and I've been part of some of their programs. I've been on the same panel with some of them. But as a management consultant and someone that work widely in the startup space, what I've seen, in my own Edward Esene opinion, it will take us another 20 years to achieve. So what's the highest cashless economy we have in the world? China is up there. I think UK is up there, US is up there, Sweden is up there, Finland is up there. These guys have about 80% to 90% cashless. So they still have 10% cash-based economy, right? So it will take us about 20 years to get there. But this is what I have to put the but. There are some things, there are some things that comes to you from your blind spots in forecasting and doing assumptions or scenario planning.
All right.
There are things that you never thought of. There are some drivers, some multipliers, some catalysts. For instance, the arrivals of the fintechs, right? For instance, and the many other fintechs that are in the pipeline that are coming.
Yeah.
And Generation Z and backwards, not the baby boomers, not the millennials, even millennials downwards, because in that instance, as those people come into the mainstream economy, what they would know how to use to pay won't be what people that have gone ahead of us, what they know in terms of payment is cash. To do a business with my mom as a trader, there's nothing USSD or transfer to her. In fact, you don't just even have an account, you just give her money.
Yes.
She will release the goods to you. But there are some people that are coming behind, so me, my mom, maybe my kids, what they would know will not be cash.
Sure.
What they will meet will be QR pay, scan to pay, tap to pay, USSD. So our cashless infrastructure is also still evolving. We've, for instance, not used or maximized QR scans, QR pay, which will follow immediately after USSD. USSD is at the peak now. Everybody is doing transfers. They have a lot of agents around you. You don't have to go to the bank
or whatnot.
A lot. And even though, again, like you said, it's coming at a charge at a charge. If I have to go to a local agent, say I'm doing 10,000 naira, there's a fee, I pay it to them. But if I don't use my card, if I transfer to them, there's also a fee.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're trying to ignore all of those and just...
I'm going to get to that question too.
Just encourage that, Edward is now cashless. Edward is now captured inside the formal economy.
Yeah.